Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing with Dan Diker and Billy Doc Niles. Today's program is brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue on Highway 16 West Salem and downtown La Crosse. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialists on La Crosse's north side. By Pizza Hut in La Crosse and Winona. Pizza Hut. Now here's Dan with this week's show.
Hi, race fans. Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing here on KQEG TV, along with Billy Doc Niles. I am Dan Diker, and it rained last weekend again, so you spent the day in a pickup truck following motorcycles, and I spent the day pouting.
Well, the motorcycles followed me. I didn't want to be behind them, but yeah, did a little charity ride. Was supposed to do it on the motorcycle. Did it with the pickup truck, and anyway, I was dry. But yeah, we raised money for a good cause. You and I got to go out and spend some time with some friends Saturday night after the races.
Yep.
Or after the rain out, I guess I should say. Something we would normally do after the races, but it was a good night either way. And it just didn't have any racing. I mean, La Crosse held out as long as they could.
Only track to hold out.
Only track to hold out.
There was a brief window of 40 to 20%. Brief.
But yeah,
and
brief,
it went like this real quick.
Brief as it was, yeah, it started misting somewhere around 7:30 Saturday night, and I think they made the right call. We'd have lost the track, so I don't think we'd have got it in. But, you know, hey, we got all summer to make these up.
Well, if you notice the guy sitting in the middle we're going to talk to here as well, he likes the next race coming up at the Slinger Speedway, because in my advantage point sitting in the tower, I see when drivers come up to the grandstands and hit the snack bar, and when it's buck night, Brad Warthan usually walks by, and you usually take advantage. Dana even has to give you a hand to bring back the stuff you're taking to the pits. You like them chili cheese fries.
I do. They're one of my favorites down there. I normally have to have 2 or 3 of them before I get back down to the
pits. And he normally has to stop in front of the window and present them to me, knowing that all I have is the Billy Miller water bottle.
And let's face it, we don't get anything that good down in the pits, so you have to go up into the stands to get something that cool.
It is Buck Night coming up this weekend, and it was funny. Billy and I were looking over the schedule because they did reschedule the kids' boxcar race and add it to what else is on the program Saturday night.
Full program Saturday night.
Man, you've got late models, you've got sportsmen, you've got Thunder Stocks, you have Hornets, you have Queen Bees, you have the kids' boxcar race, you have the Subway Eating Challenge, the Sub Sandwich Eating Challenge, and then Buck Night as well. I'm figuring, guys, we're going to have a pretty full hill.
We're going to have a good crowd. I would anticipate probably the same amount of late models that we had, because it sounds like a couple of tracks aren't running this weekend, so we may see a couple of faces we haven't seen yet. This could be good. I liked the sportsman numbers a couple of weeks ago. I hope they improve as the season goes on, and even the Thunderstock numbers were up just a touch, so it's great. All divisions are starting to look healthy right now, and we got a packed program. Man, how are we going to get this all in? Even pre-race, how are we going to get pre-race in before 7:30? That's going to be a challenge.
Well, I felt bad for the street stocks last week because we've already seen the Hornets once this year, and they had 25-26 on opening night. The sportsman numbers, I think, were right around 18-19, and there were some challenges there as well we're going to talk about when we get Brad here in the part of the program. And the big news around the entire state of Wisconsin was La Crosse had 30 late models. And man, did I hear about that. I mean, I was hearing about it from pretty much everybody from the southern tip of Wisconsin all the way up north, Iowa, Minnesota. Rockford was talking about it.
I had a chance to put on Facebook the very last B-main that La Crosse actually ran, because it's been 7 years since we've run a B-main. So if you get a chance, check out my Facebook page. You'll check that out. There was a certain someone in that one. That's why I know. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see the numbers up. We haven't had B-mains on a regular basis in years, so this looks to be, you know, a damn good year if the numbers stay this way.
I want to thank Pizza Hut of La Crosse, Winona, Carey Heating and Air Conditioning for supporting the program in year number 7. I also want to thank a good friend of mine, Brad Warthan, for being on the program today. Only 2 drivers have been on this show all 7 years, of course, this being the 7th year. Billy Doc Niles and Brad Warthan. Probably, I think the history still remains. I've been in the area now 12 years, and he was the very first driver I met when I was living in Sparta. Now, we won't go into detail on exactly what happened that night because I lost my sense of direction, but it's good to have you back on again. I really appreciate you supporting the show.
Thanks a lot, Dan. You only we're supposed to go 2 blocks that night, too. It took you 2 hours to get home.
I was down in Bangor somewhere, I think it was. Billy Doc, you've had an opportunity Brad was racing before I came to the La Crosse Speedway, so you got to see him in his early years of Thunderstock.
I've watched Brad progress from the Thunderstocks up to the Sportsman. Did you dabble a little bit in Hornets?
No, I ran a couple of nights with people that would allow me to drive their car.
But yeah, the progression, I mean, he'd come from a wild-eyed kid who pretty much has polished himself over the last couple of years to be a pretty darn good threat in the sportsman class. So it's been fun to watch the progression.
Well, we're going to talk more about the progression on the other side of this break right now. I'm going to hear from some of our fantastic sponsors. Again, Brad Warthan, sportsman driver, going to be joining us here on segment number 2. Segment 3 is going to be a good one here. Last weekend was the Alan Kulwicki Memorial Race. And Conrad Morgan, who was in a devastating crash last year, which a lot of people thought was just going to take the end of his career, came back, won the race. So thanks to Dan Margaretta, our last segment of the show today, we're going to show you the last 8.5 minutes of that race.
What's really, not only cool about that is, a horrible crash that almost took his life. He's 69 years old, and he's still going out there and spanking them kids on that high bank fast quarter mile. So this is going to be a fun watch. If you haven't seen it, you're going to enjoy this.
Slinger in segment 3, Brad Warthan. He's coming up next as Big Boy Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue. Or you don't have to drive down to Des Moines to get great pulled pork too. If you want ribs, the best in town, pulled pork or chicken too. Just come on down for the best food in town at Big Boy Barbecue.
In downtown La Crosse, there's only one place where you can find award-winning barbecue. Hi, this is Jerry Beyer from Big Boar Barbecue. The people from La Crosse have spoken and voted us the best barbecue and the best caterer in La Crosse County. Try it yourself and you'll agree. We've got the highest quality ribs, pulled pork, brisket, smoked chicken, and ham. Barbecue like nowhere else. Got a meeting or special event? We could cater it. Ask about our business delivery service. Big Boar Barbecue on 3rd Street downtown and Highway 16 West Salem.
Yeah!
Whatever your perfect temperature, you'll enjoy consistent comfort with the heating and air conditioning systems homeowners rank #1. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Save up to $1,000 on select American Standard home comfort systems. Call Carey Heating today or visit AmericanStandardAir.com for complete program eligibility, dates, details, and restrictions. Have you tried the great lunch buffet at Pizza Hut? Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1:30, Pizza Hut in La Crosse and Winona offers you an all-you-can-eat lunch buffet for just $5.99. All the salad, pasta, breadsticks, and of course, delicious piping hot pizza you can eat. How about dinner? Don't get up, get online and get a large 2-topping pizza for just $7.99. It's the best pizza delivery deal at your La Crosse and Winona Pizza Hut. Call for delivery or order online. Pizza Hut.
Welcome back, race fans. Big Boy Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV, along with Billy Doc Niles. I am radio man Dan Diker. Our guest this week, he's joined us all 7 years of the program, and that would be Brad Warthan from Sparta. First question is, first race out 2 weeks ago, man, you shot to the outside. We're thinking your truck from last season was going to continue this year, and Brad went bye-bye. What happened?
Yeah, we broke a distributor rotor on that restart, was side-by-side with Randy. I feel right there out of turn 4, lap into that restart, it kind of fell on its face and just kind of broke from there. I'm glad it broke where it did because it put us right there at that off ramp where I didn't have to bring out a caution or even cause a wreck if somebody was to get into the back of me. So
you got to the front awful quick. Did you feel like you had the car to beat once you got to the front, or did you think you were going to have a fight on your hands?
I wasn't really too sure until that restart come out, and then it's like, well, now that Randy's to the outside of me, it's going to be a battle right off the bat. He's always going to be a tough one to beat this year, along with Steve Bachman. So we'll have to see about that. But I felt I had a really strong car, and if I would have got out to a little bit of a lead, I think we could have been able to hang on to it.
Now, you're in a new car this year, and what you have 4 features last year, 3 features, and you win Oktoberfest. Several quick times, which started coming around the latter part of the season. What did you learn? I mean, obviously you got Rookie of the Year, so it's not like you're still new at this. What did you learn from last year that you put into your new car to make it look like a rocket ship on night number 1?
I just got to thank Derek Squires. That's all there is to it. I mean, that guy brought me from being an 8th place car my rookie year to being able to win features. I mean, without him, I don't know what I'd be doing. I was really fresh on this. You know, I didn't know much about the sportsman division when I first started. I was just a Thunderstock kid that thought he could get it done out there. And I bought the right car to start with. You know, 4 years ago, I bought the old Johnny O Championship car,
right.
And that's kind of what brought me into Derek Squires. So at the end of last year, we decided we had such a good year that I couldn't really update my car much more. You know, I mean, it was so outdated just to be able to just bring it back. And I just decided that around December, Derek and I got talking, and we're like, hey, you know, let's build a new one and see what we can do with that.
And this is the first time we've been publicly have had a chance to ask you this. How did it feel to win Oktoberfest?
Oh, man. You know, that was unbelievable. When I come out of turn 4 and seen that checkered flag fall, and like, I've won 2 Oktoberfest features in the Thunderstock division, and I won on double O. But the feeling coming out of turn 4 running sportsman division on that big track is just one of them things you just can't explain.
Well, you talk about Derek Squires being your chassis builder, and he's got not just like your car, and I believe Sam's car is a Squires. He's got cars all over the place, not just at Lacrosse. Talk about what he's done to make everybody in the Midwest better in the sportsman division.
Well, there's just one name we got to say right there, Dave Truitt. I mean, he takes that white and black Derek Squires car out there and he just conquers, you know, in the Midwest. He is going to be one of the toughest guys to beat in the GNSS Sportsman division this year, and probably even the Tundra, I believe he'll be running. Jason Stark's another one. You know, he's going to be a tough one to beat too out there. But Derek, he's got quite a few cars, you know, and now Malin Borntrigger actually bought my old car, so we'll see what he can do with a DSR. He brought Corey Jankowski to a championship back here in 2011, back when he ran the sportsman division. So Derek's been around a while, and Theron Raisin, he helps him out quite a bit, and he was our mod champion last year at Thomas Sparta Speedway.
Right.
So,
well, now you're a race director this year.
Yeah, I was flagging last year, and they decided that with the way I kind of like to get on the radio and chatter about things and know quite a few of what I'm doing from listening to Jeff Garber's all them years.
Yell at you.
yeah, but don't do that, 22.
First guy I've ever watched at the Thomas Sparta Raceway actually get out of the flag stand and lay a black flag on someone's windshield. That was, what, 3 years ago? That's Brad for you.
I gotta ask you, now that you've been on one end of Jeff Garber's wrath, now that you're up in the tower, do you have an appreciation for his job now that you're doing the same thing?
You know, actually last year when I first took that job over, I had so much more respect for the way that Jeff runs things, and Chuck and Dave. I mean, them guys put so much into the Speedway to keep it running nice and simple on a Saturday night. It's just unreal.
And take so much crap.
Yeah, they do, definitely. I mean, I've been on that side giving Chuck and Dave and Jeff crap all the time, you know, and it's like, man, now that I'm on this side, it's like I know what they go through, and it takes a lot to put up with things and just step back and smile and say thank you. We'll see you next week.
You know, I was wondering. I kind of sat back and thought, okay, do I want to ask Brad this or not? But I'm going to ask you flat out. All the names this year are Bachman and Humpfeld and Bachman, back and forth. And Billy and I and Paul Reichert sized up the whole class about a month ago when we first started doing the TV show this year, and I kept saying you cannot take Brad Warthan out of that equation, out of Randy Humpfeld running his old car, which was a championship car, Steve Bachman still in the hunt to get that championship, and I honestly believe that they cannot take you out of the conversation.
You know, I mean, I've always been close right there. Ever since my second year in the sportsman division, we've been right there in the top 5 in points, and I mean, it just seems the last 2 years I've got off to a rough start. The last year we cut a tire opening night. Week after that we were battling for the lead of the feature with Rick Schimmerhorn, and I melted a wire down, and that cost me a night. 2 weeks later I cut another tire. I mean, I've always been there in the hunt, even in the Thunderstock, but it just seems I'm always getting off to such a rough start. I got to catch up.
You know, we brought up Humpfeld, we brought up Bachman and yourself. Well, size up Thompson. He seems to be a lot quicker this year, too.
Yeah, you know, back there in that Jake Arneson car, that was always a fast car. And,
yeah.
I helped Jeff Thompson do his first feature win from the grandstands last year when I took a night off. I confiscated Cassie's phone. That was quite funny. She didn't know what to do without her cell phone throughout the night.
Well, before we let you go, and you can also catch Brad on our radio show this week from noon to 1 on WBOG. It's the Race Report, and we'll get a little bit more in depth with Brad since we have a little bit more time to talk to him. Sponsor-wise this year, I know you're down a tad bit, but you've got some exciting news that just developed over the past couple of weeks. You are your own sponsor. That's kind of different.
Yeah, it's definitely different. You know, when I get to put my own name on both rear quarter panels this year, that's definitely going to be cool. We started a roughing business over the last couple of weeks. I'm figuring by this time next week, I will be fully licensed and fully insured. So if anybody needs a rough out there, you can find me on Facebook or talk to me on Saturday nights in the pits.
I'm going to take pictures for him.
He wants work, not an all-season project.
The black tarp that you lay down when you get ready to roof somebody's house, whoever had the shed before me, use that as siding, and then use tar or use the actual shingles to... Yeah, I got to send you pictures. It's a complete cluster.
It sounds like a project.
Nice way to start the 2017 season, of course. The distributor goes down, and that's going to be totally put in the back. I think this is still a fresh sheet of paper for everybody for Saturday night because you've only had one race in. You're going to be one to watch this year. He's got the car colored up. He's got the vinyl numbers all ready to go. And I'll say it again, if you don't get 4 or 5 wins this year, along with probably 4 or 5 of the drivers, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, me too. I mean, there's going to be a pretty stout field this year. There's going to be some drivers that are going to be really tough to beat. Like you said, Humfeld, Bachman, I feel Thompson's going to be there too. You know, he's going to be right there with us.
Oxborough looked pretty strong opening night, so don't count him out.
Oh yeah, we can't forget about them guys from across the river.
Yeah, I think Oxborough's going to get a couple wins. We're out of time on the segment right here because we got to get to some video. We do appreciate you coming in, and he did this last year, and he did this the year before. He forgot to thank Dana on the other side of the calendar, or the other side of the camera, for helping him and assisting him in his racing team. So
yeah, I definitely can't forget her. Without her on any Saturday night, you know, it's going to be pretty hectic for me. Before we go, I got to thank D&D Trucking out of Sparta, Innovative Movers also out of Sparta, and I definitely could not forget to thank my mom for what she does for me with the garage, and Derek Squires. Without him, I don't know where I'd be.
And his daughter pulls some good numbers. That's Brad Warthan, the Double Deuce and the Sportsman. Watch him up front several times before the year is over. Coming up next, we're going to take you back to the Alan Kulwicki Memorial from next weekend. Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue. Or you don't have to drive down to Des Moines to get great pulled pork too. If you want ribs, the best in town, pulled pork or chicken too, just come on down for the best food in town at Big Boar Barbecue.
The people have spoken. Hi, this is Jerry Beyer from Big Boar Barbecue. Recently voted the best barbecue and best caterer in La Crosse County by popular vote. And no, this wasn't a rigged election. Try it yourself. Taste our delicious, tender, fall-off-the-bone ribs, pulled pork, brisket, smoked ham, or chicken. And you'll agree this is the best barbecue. You'll find us on 3rd Street downtown and on Highway 16 in West Salem. But our catering truck can come right to your door for any special occasion. Big Boar Barbecue. Now that's a mouthful.
Yeah!
Whatever your perfect temperature, you'll enjoy consistent comfort with the heating and air conditioning systems homeowners rank #1. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Save up to $1,000 on select American Standard home comfort systems. Call Carey Heating today or visit AmericanStandardAir.com for complete program eligibility, dates, details, and restrictions. Have you tried the great lunch buffet at Pizza Hut? Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1:30, Pizza Hut in La Crosse and Winona offers you an all-you-can-eat lunch buffet for just $5.99. All the salad, pasta, breadsticks, and of course, delicious piping hot pizza you can eat. How about dinner? Don't get up, get online and get a large 2-topping pizza for just $7.99. It's the best pizza delivery deal at your La Crosse and Winona Pizza Hut. Call for delivery or order online. Pizza Hut.
were here a year ago to see the wreck that very nearly caused the end of Conrad Morgan's career. To have spent the entire off-season wondering whether or not he still had it. He led every lap. Conrad Morgan is out of the car, ladies and gentlemen. I am told all sandwiches are $1 off. There's a celebration. Two weeks ago, Conrad Morgan set fast time for our season opener. They weren't real sure what was the matter with the guy when he got out of his car. He had his helmet on yet, and he seemed a little groggy. He was choked up because he finally made the comeback, and it was fast time. And here he is a week later, and he wins the super late model feature here at Slinger Speedway. His 51st year of racing here at Slinger Speedway. It never gets old. Winner of the super late model feature, ladies and gentlemen, Conrad Morgan. How you doing? I'm all right. 60 laps, you led every lap, you never let up one lap, you knew you had a good young racer in Ryan DeStefano behind you, you never gave him a chance. You don't dare, you can't give these young guys a chance. If you do, you're not going to win. And I knew I was going to have to drive for everything the car was worth. From lap 1 to lap 60, the car was really good. I got to thank Dave and all the guys, Scott, Mark, everybody that works on this car. There's been a ton of work happened to this car since last September. I should say since last June. It took us 11 months to get the car to where it is today. Right now it's the best car I've ever driven. Now, this had to be the worst off-season of your life with all the question marks that you had in your own head. Did you ever, for 1 minute, think that you weren't coming back? I had some doubts from probably July to, I don't know, November, December. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. It seems like once I got past the first of the year, got into January, I started to feel better. And when I came up here top lap the car about a month ago, the car was so good and I felt so comfortable in it. I just had to get over the anxiety of racing with other cars, and I think I've managed that. And how about this for a question? And how do you feel right now? Elated. There you go. Elated. Ladies and gentlemen, Conrad Morgan back in victory lane. What a great day.
Well, again, congratulations, Conrad Morgan, taking the Alan Kulwicki Memorial last weekend. What a fantastic race that was. This weekend, you've got a Subway Eating Challenge at La Crosse Speedway. We've got a kids boxcar race. We're going to throw in some Hornets and Queen Bees, the Thunderstocks, Sportsman, and the late models. A big show's going to be coming up one more time.
And it's Buck Night.
And it's Buck Night. All concession food items are just $1. Icy cold beer beverages, just $2. For Brad Warthan and Bill Doc Niles, Jesse behind the camera, and Rick Wilson, our station manager, we thank you for joining us again as Big Boar Barbecue has presented Seven Rivers Racing.
You've been watching the Big Boar Barbecue presentation of Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV. Seven Rivers Racing is brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue on Highway 16 West Salem and downtown La Crosse. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialists on La Crosse's north side. By Pizza Hut in La Crosse and Winona. Pizza Hut. Join us next week at this same time for Doc and Dan and Seven Rivers Racing on KQ.